Okay, now I'm going to fly through this. Here's the chapter 13 stuff. I do, you do. Okay, so the first thing, we're going to take the chapter 13 stuff, which was simplify. So I'm just going to fly through this. Again, this is a movie that you can pause and look back and rewind. All right, so first one, this is just a simple distribution. All right, so and show the lines. My students drive me nuts. They don't show the lines, then lo and behold, they make mistakes and don't understand why. All right, I just don't get it. So show the distribution lines and then add like terms. When you add like terms, nothing happens to the variable. You just put the numbers together. Next one, distribute, distribute. This stays as a plus in between. This is negative 18a. This is positive 6b. Sorry, squeezing that in there. And then this is negative 10b, keeping track of negatives. No math magic, disappearing negatives and disappearing variables, so be careful. And then those end up being like terms. And then these are like terms. Okay, so that's 2 down. I swear to whatever you believe in, if you don't, in my class, distribute this minus sign, there is something wrong. We've done this a billion times, and I've said over and over and over again, minus is plus a negative, and then you group like terms. All right, so I'm just going to rewrite this, even though that's a bit of a time waster. But notice that minus turns into a positive when you distribute the minus sign. And then notice this positive turns into a negative 3x. Right? And then the ability to add like terms. This is not a multiplication question. So don't go through a process similar to distributing or foiling. 4x to the fourth is Mr. Samulus, no friends. And then I cross it off when I'm done grouping those two, or putting them together. I don't want to use a term that might scare you. And then when I put these two together, it's negative 6x cubed. Nothing happens to the x cubes. That's how you add like terms. And then this is 7x squared. Cross them off when you're done. And then minus 3x. All right, and that's that. Okay, now next ones. This is just a flat out distribution. Hey, if I do the lines, you should be doing the lines. Keeping track. And then as you draw the lines, then do the multiplication before you move on to another one. And then there's the last line, minus 12a squared. Remember, multiplying is the original thing we did. Tomorrow when I do factoring, it's the reverse of this. So I just want to mention this. If I factor this, this would be the answer. All right, you go backwards and take out a GCF. So just remind yourself of that, how multiplying and factoring are reverses of each other. This is distribute the y. We did have these little boxes that we drew, if that helps you out. You put a box in a box, and then you put y and negative 3 here, and 2y here, and 1, and then you multiplied here, 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 and then these ended up being like terms. I'm not going to do that. If you want to do it, go for it. Knock yourself out. All right, and then this is y times 1, which is y. This is negative. Look at the lines. Again, drives me goofy, batty, want to jump out a window. Students don't draw the lines and they can't get this question right. Just don't get it. All right? And then that's it. And remember, tomorrow we may have this and the question might say factor. Guess what the answer would be? Boom shakalaka. All right? And then this one, just a little fancy schmancy. Distribute, and then x squared times x squared is x to the fourth. So you do have to do some exponent rules. When you throw this here to there, that's 5x squared with a minus on it. And then this is minus 3x squared. And then this is plus 15. So this is x to the fourth minus 8x squared plus 15. All right, so just a little fancy stuff happening with the variables. X squared times x squared is x to the fourth. And then the final three, and then you're on your own. This is a binomial times a trinomial. Some did like that box, 2 and 3 things. All right, so you put a and negative 4 here, a squared, negative a, negative 2, and then you multiply through row column. All right, you go ahead and do that if you want, and then check your answer at the end. What I think is easy is a times a squared is a to the third. Now watch how I group my like terms on this. This may be helpful. A times negative a is negative a squared. And then a times negative 2 is negative 2a. And then just for purple purposes or for color purposes, now the next thing. You take this -4 and distribute it. And then this is a way you could do this. This groups like terms together and add them like grade school, in columns. -4 times -a is 4a. And then -4 times -2 is 8. Then when you add, you can add the like terms like this. No friends. This is -5a squared. This is 2a, and this is 8. All right, so that's it. That's how you do it. 6 multiplications. Then this one's just one of those special cases. B times b is b squared. This is positive 8b, but this is negative 8b. Right? And then don't forget the last one, negative 64. This is a case where the middle term cancels. Now, I don't want to do this, but I am. That's the answer to multiply or simplify. Tomorrow, I may ask you to factor this. Well, this is called the difference of two squares, and that would be the factor of that, b minus 8, b plus 8. And that's one that you hopefully can remember through, I guess, a formula. And it makes it factor real fast. So we definitely presented that in that way to make you have a better chance at remembering. And then the last one, something squared means something times itself. X times x, so that's what you got to do. X squared, and then no, the middle term does not fall out on this one. This one's different. Minus and minus is a big minus. That is negative 12x. So multiplying, you do the bottom part. Good luck.